Record Machine with your host, Jimmy Howell.
I'll take my time, so won't you give it to me? I'll pay the fine, so won't you give it to me? I'll face my crimes, I'll change my mind. Won't you give me just a little reassurance? I don't know why you got me praying for it. Been way too kind for you to break a promise. I'll change my mind, don't waste my time. This is really getting on my nerves. Been too shy, but yet I know you want it. Crossed the line, but yet I know you want it. Know you cried, you chose to hide, and now you're putting it all on me. And I'm not trying to change you, but I just don't like the way you talk. Maybe we can make a breakthrough, but we got some shit to sort. We got some shit to sort. We got some shit to sort. Yeah. I made a promise to myself that I could do this. Through the hard times I knew this would be ruthless. Plan in action, no distraction, yeah, I'm approved. Chain reaction, change is happening, let's keep this moving. Take the challenge, make it happen, I'm watching tune. The ones who wait stay the same, I don't have to lose it. So play the game, have you say, and you'll be choosing. Anything that happens, but let's keep this grooving. And I'm not trying to change you, but I just don't like the way you talk. Maybe we can make a breakthrough, but we got some shit to start. We got some shit to start. We got some shit to start. Yeah, right. And I'm not trying to change you, but I just don't like the way you talk. Maybe we can make a breakthrough, but we got some shit to sort. We got some shit to sort. Yeah. We got some shit to sort. And I'm not trying to change you. Yeah, I just don't like the way you talk. Maybe we can make a breakthrough, but we got some shit to sort.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, Alex Larsson.
Hello?
Hey, Alex.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
Whereabouts in the UK are you?
I'm in London at the moment. I just South London, so more or less. Have you ever? Rugby's not a big thing over there, but
No.
we got a England's home rugby stadium. It's called Twickenham Stadium, and that's about 10 minutes from where I'm at the moment. So
Nice.
not too far from Central. How about yourself? Where are you at?
I'm in central New Jersey. You familiar?
Okay.
We're close, like to we're between New York City and the Jersey Shore.
Okay, all right, I'm with you.
I don't know if you've ever been to New York or not.
I did when I was about 2 years old. I don't remember it too well,
Yeah.
personally, but you know, I've seen enough film and television to kind of have an idea of what it's like. But I'd love to go again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of great clubs in New York that you would probably do well at.
I would hope so.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of places in New York. Are you a solo artist or do you have a whole band?
So the project, so in theory, is a solo artist. It's a solo project. I write and arrange everything, and I've been doing so for the last since I was last 10 years or so. But I was with a band. We finished about 4 years ago. We started a band and we got an EP recorded. We started cracking on, trying to make it work, and played a few gigs. And for various reasons, after about 2 years of the project going, the various members couldn't commit anymore, and we kind of had to leave it. It was through no choice. Like, we really, really wanted to keep the band going, but it wasn't really feasible, and everyone had their lives and rent to pay and so on and so forth. So me and the bass player Francesco had a meeting, because he was the only one who wanted to keep it going with me. We had a meeting and got the funds together. 2 years later, got the record done, put it out, and this is the first release. And 2 weeks after that, here we are talking.
That's awesome, man.
So it's still really, really fresh in terms of like releasing and putting ourselves out there. But it is we've got a group of boys who play in the band as well.
And you got two videos out now, and you just got the new one called Light Up, right?
Yeah, so Light Up is the first music video that I've ever released, and that's literally just done 100,000 views today, which is crazy.
That's awesome, man.
It's crazy. I can't believe it, honestly. So
now, Light Up, is that a story that is close to the heart? Do you know? Is that a personal experience or somebody you know?
Yeah. No, that's me, more or less. That's that's a little introduction into my life, and it's so Light Up. I wrote 5 years ago, and that was it's gone through so many versions. I'm so glad that it's finally been. It's got a final version and it's out and it's released, and it's super exciting. But yeah, that's I try to be as honest and close to the bone as possible, without being too over exposed, if that makes sense.
Oh, of course.
It has to be relatable to other people as well as me, and if I just wrote my story, I think the song would be a lot longer than 3 minutes.
Of course.
And two, I don't think it would be particularly relatable. So I wanted to, take my story and kind of not generalize it as such, but make it applicable to as many people as possible. Because I'm not the only person that's had a difficult childhood or a family disruption, or this is such a common occurrence that I didn't want to make it seem like it's something so direct. But yeah, that is more or less. The video was interesting because he looks exactly like me when I was that age, the kid in it.
Wow, so I guess they did a good job casting, huh?
Well, we did it all ourselves, and it was it was a crazy scenario. So I got in touch with a guy called Liam Bagnall, who I don't know if you're familiar with Rap Battle or platforms like King of the Dot or URL, which are big rap battle leagues in the US and Canada. And we've got kind of our version over here in the UK, which is called Don't Flop, and now there's loads of other battle leagues. But I used to go to these Don't Flop events when I was younger to watch the rap battles and kind of draw some inspiration and see what other people were writing and rapping about. And there was one guy who was filming and editing everything, a guy called Liam, really, really good at what he did. And when it was time to make the video, there was no one else I could really reach out to. I knew he'd be the guy that would make this as good as it is. We got in touch, got the video done, and when we were casting it, we had a week to make the video because the timeline of when the song was being released against when the next tune is coming out, which is next Wednesday, is the third track of the EP. But we had to get that all sorted. We got the cast, everyone sorted, 2 locations. And then Friday night, I was on the phone to my mum just saying, everything's locked in now. The shoot's on Sunday. We just got to get through tomorrow, get the last props, and then do the shoot on Sunday. Saturday Saturday afternoon, I get a call from Jamie, who is the guy who plays the older brother in the video, and he tells me that the kid that we had locked in for the shoot has broken his arm. Okay. So, the chances of him breaking his arm 12 hours before we had to start was crazy. So we managed to get a friend of a friend's son who came in, and he's absolutely smashed it. So I'm over the moon with how it turned out. Yeah,
I watched the video, man. It's pretty intense, but it's good. It's a great song, and the video is great, but it's very intense. It
is intense. It is intense. Well, the next track is definitely a little bit less intense.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it sums up. It's a nice introduction to kind of me as a person as well, as an artist. That tune in particular.
And what is the next track called?
The next track's called "I Don't Understand You, Baby."
Okay.
And it's
is that about your girlfriend or an old girlfriend or wife?
It's an ex, I guess.
Okay.
It kind of it's so when we, just to kind of give you a bit of background on the project itself. So I've been writing for many years for different people as well.
Okay.
And I have about 3 albums worth of material ready to be released. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done to record a record, especially if you want it to sound as good as it possibly can. Mm-hmm. And you need a certain amount of financing as well. And doing it on our own, we only had the option to get 4 done properly right now. So what we wanted to do was get 4 tracks which kind of summed up the sound of the project, but also gave you 4 different tasters of what we do as well.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the first tune, We've Got Some Shit to Sort, which was kind of soul, rocky, little bit of funk in there.
Oh yeah.
Then you Light Up, which is a lot heavier, still rocky, but you've got a bit of hip hop in there, a bit more rap.
Yeah. So if you had to categorize your what genre would you say you are? You're a little bit of everything.
Well, this is the problem, and it's something that I still can't really answer. I mean, personally, I feel like it kind of fits into its own category. I think as artists, we have so many influences, and we grow up on so much music, and what we try and do is piece all of that to little bits here and there and piece it into our style. We're all unique individuals, as humans, and we all listen to different things with different preferences. And I think the danger of what happens quite often is people like a specific genre, and they feel that in order for other people to like them, they need to fit that exact mold that the genre is kind of setting out, instead of taking a little bit that they like personally and going, oh well, I like that element, but at home I listen to this as well, so let's try and kind of cross it over. And I think that gets lost quite a lot. And I don't know, there are some artists out there which do their own thing completely, and it's amazing to see someone like Anderson .Paak. I've been listening to him a lot. He's got his old school style, but it's so fresh as well. It doesn't feel like it's old school. It feels like something completely brand new. And it still crosses over so many styles and genres that. Yeah, well,
I hear last Saturday night, I was doing my show live on the air, and I was promoting that I was going to be interviewing you and then rebroadcasting the interview this Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I played the song "We Got Some Shit to Sort," which we'll get to in a minute. But my wife, Robin, she does the show with me.
Okay.
And we kind of bounce off of each other. Like, she's like my sidekick. And she's listening to the song, and she says to me, this is a really good song. And I said, yeah. And I said, who he kind of reminds me of in this song? And she's like, yeah, I think I do. And we both said the same exact thing. It was funny. It almost sounds like an Elvis Costello song.
Okay.
That's what I hear, and We've Got Some Shit to Sort. And then when you go to Light It Up, it's like almost like a reggae song.
Yeah, there's definitely some influences there.
I mean, Elvis Costello is, you know, obviously a fantastic artist. It's not someone that I've extensively listened to, but I've definitely listened to a lot of reggae growing up as well. And, you know, the kind of the fusion between, like, you know, hip hop, jazz, soul, reggae, and, you know, I love blues as well. It's that kind of old school style, but trying to give it a slightly modern, you know, spin. Like when, you know, I actually listened to a lot of Elvis growing up as well. I love a bit of Elvis.
Yeah, me too.
You know, from about 12 years old, I used to do residencies and open mics across London, and I used to do that about three to four times a week from about 12, 13 until I was about 18, 19.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you know, just to get it's what I love to do, and you know, that's, for me, that was where my party was at. You know, my mates would go out, you know, on a night out, but for me, to have a good time, I needed to kind of go out and, you know, practice and play and, you know, get feedback and see where I could improve and, you know, crack on. But I opened almost every show with That's All Right Mama.
Oh, nice.
Which was Elvis's first release. I know it was a cover. It wasn't his tune originally. He definitely, his style on it is what kind of drew me in. But yeah, I love old school music. Yeah.
So when you were growing up in your house and stuff, do you have like brothers and sisters who played like old stuff, or your parents, or?
So my parents really went into music, which is I think it was well, this is my dad. This is what confuses me, because my dad, you know, we never spoke really about music, or you know, and only with my mum in the later years. But with my dad, we never found, you know, a kind of mutual ground on music. But you know, he told me these stories of when he'd seen, you know, he was at Liverpool University many years ago, and he saw, you know, the likes of the Beatles and Bob Marley. And you know, he told me a funny story when he wasn't a smoker, but he went to this Bob Marley concert. I think in the I don't want to put a specific date on it, but he went to this concert. He said he walked in the room and that was it. You know, his night was over from walking into the room. But when my dad passed away a couple of years back.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. It's, you know, part of life, I guess. But you know, when I was sorting out his old apartment, you know, there's about 300 vinyls here with all sorts, you name it, and there's, you know, the songs here. So it's a shame that we didn't kind of connect more so over music. But my parents were very work driven. Neither of them came from the UK, and you know, my mum didn't speak English until she was, you know, in her 30s properly.
Oh, wow. Where's your mom from originally?
My mum's from Sweden, and the rest of my family are still out in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
So my dad is South African and my mum's Swedish, and I've got half brothers and sisters still in Sweden.
Okay.
I've got all my cousins and uncles and aunties. I don't have any family in South Africa anymore. But yeah, so I grew up kind of, you know, going to school in the UK and then traveling back and forth, you know, visiting family and, you know, seeing my siblings. But you know, they came from, you know, not a huge amount. So they were very work driven, and stuff like music and, you know, things like that wasn't really what they wanted of me, I think. You know, that was definitely, you know, I think especially my dad, you know, he was, you know, I think something like a lawyer or a doctor would have made him a lot happier. But where we would have, you know, found some really, really good common ground is the energy and, you know, effort that's put into a career path. You know, I love what I do, and I give it as much as I can every single day.
Well, that's the best thing, man, because you don't want to be one of these guys who, wakes up when they're like 60 something and says, I don't know why I didn't do what I wanted to do. Why did I work this shitty job for 40 years? And, I could have did this, I could have did that, at least you're living, the dream. You're doing what you want to do. You're doing what makes you happy. Because in the end, all the people who are telling you that you should do this and do that, they're not going to be around forever anyway.
Yeah.
And, you got to do what makes you happy. And that's what you're doing,
No, it's very true. There's a video. Have you ever heard of a guy called Alan Watts?
No, I haven't. I have to check it out.
He's like a philosopher. He's a very wise guy. And so many people have taken little clips from his speeches and turned them into videos. There's a video called "Life Is Not a Journey" by Alan Watts, and it pretty much sums up exactly what we're speaking about and what you just said there so well. And it's something that I, refer back to a lot, because it's this concept of, we focus so much on what's to come and what's in the future, and we worry about the things that we've done in the past and what other people have done, and we don't really spend too much time focusing on the present and enjoying the journey. And the analogy he makes is, when you write a piece of music, you don't start at the end. You never, so why would we, sit in life wanting to be at that final point where we have everything, or, we're in the position that we've always dreamed of.
Right. You know what I think it is too? I don't think it's necessarily, our parents or our brothers and sisters, the ones who say, oh, you should be a doctor or you should be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily are saying that, because
no.
I think they want to play it safe, because they feel like the music business or the radio business or the show, acting, it's a crapshoot to them.
Yeah.
And for you to go to college and get a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree or 8-year degree, whatever it is you're going for, to them it's more safe, because you'll have you'll always have stable income. In show business,
definitely,
you never know when the rug can be pulled out from under you. You have a hit song one day and be forgotten the next day, or a hit movie and then forgotten the next day. And I think that's their mindset. You know what I mean?
Completely.
But you can't think like that. You always have to be, if you think positive, good things will happen,
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I think as well, it's so easy to, especially, when you don't get the support that you may feel that you'd appreciate or that, you would like to have. It's so easy to kind of go into that headspace of, they don't care. But the reality is, they have your best interest at heart.
Right.
They just don't
express it the right way.
Exactly.
There's
exactly.
better ways to say, hey, son, or, honey, or whatever. I really do think you're talented, and I love what you do and stuff, but you do realize that, the chances of you being, a major star are not as great as you becoming a lawyer or a doctor, so.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's so true. And I think the thing is, what made it an easy choice for me, especially at such a young age. I lost my brother when I was 12.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And he was 20 when he passed away. So it kind of set the precedence for me of life. If I only had 8 more years,
Right.
then what was I going to do with it? And was I going to spend it doing something that I didn't particularly care about to make someone else happy?
Right.
Or was it kind of going to give it everything I had? Just, you never know life can change at any moment.
Exactly. You could
and it's
you could walk out the door to go rehearse or go to a show and never come home,
Oh, exactly. It's like yesterday, right? So I did my fingering a couple of weeks ago, sparring, and yesterday was the first day I felt, all right, I could probably hit the bag a bit again today. I don't feel, in that as much pain. I'm going to wrap up, and I'll be fine. And I was just warming up, and I gave the bag a little elbow, and it's a bag that's got a metal pole in the middle, and it's like a massive balloon essentially around it.
Ouch.
And I just went straight through the thing. My whole elbow swelled up, and I thought, here we go.
Oh, God.
You know, Sod's
I
law.
can imagine the language that was coming out of your mouth. F-bombs galore, probably.
I won't repeat it. No, it actually wasn't too bad. I was pretty, I kind of go into a zone when something like that happens. You know, it's kind of just a numbness, just trying not to, almost just letting it pass. And then, but it didn't pass. So,
so you do like martial arts and stuff to keep in shape? Yeah,
kind of. More boxing, to be honest. I'm fascinated with mixed martial arts, and
awesome.
I always have been. But it's something that I think like what I've found is like when you're at school and when everyone in the world is telling you that that's the priority, you create your hobbies and you do your stuff on the weekends and after school. And music, was a hobby for me in that period. And then obviously it started to transition massively, very early on. That this is what I wanted to do. And in the last 3 or 4 years, it hasn't felt like a hobby. It's felt, obviously I still completely love it, and I wouldn't want to swap it for the world. But I think it is important to find different hobbies and different outlets that you can put energy into, which your whole life doesn't revolve around as well.
Exactly. Everybody has like me. My hobby is I like to collect vinyl.
Yeah.
So I go to all shows. I go to all the shows, in New York and New Jersey, and I go to like the Goodwill stores. I find like lots of great stuff. People like, maybe they lose loved ones and they just donate all their albums to like Goodwill, and they don't realize there's like a lot of gems in there. I mean, they're charging like 50 cents for an album that's worth like $20, $30, but
it's crazy.
I know, crazy. But my radio studio is very old school. I have 2 turntables. I have
fantastic
2 CD decks. I have 2 cassette decks. I even play 8-tracks, Alex. I have over 500 8-track tapes. And I play them. And I play them on the air. And I also have the cassette tapes too from the 80s. I have probably about 300 or 400 of those. But, and then I have about, I want to say, probably about 3,000 full-length LPs and probably about 1,000 45s around.
Where'd you keep them all?
I have a studio. I have bookcases and shelving and everything.
Jeez. Well, one day I wanna have as many as that. We've just started the collection though.
Oh,
what would you say is your favorite? What's your favorite LP?
Oh man, there's just so many of them.
Okay, three.
I like Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key. I love that one.
Awesome.
I like the Beatles, the White Album. Let me do like a rock one. I'd probably say out of the rock, anything by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And then if I was going to go pop music, I would probably say like my favorite like pop singer from like the 80s and 90s was George Michael. I thought he was great.
Okay. Yeah, he was. He was
definitely gone too soon. I think I have like all the stuff by his solo stuff. Plus, I have the Wham stuff. I have a few 12-inch records that he did. And I love Tears for Fears, songs from the Big Chair.
Yeah,
that's a great album too.
So those 4, obviously those 4 LPs are none of them are modern. So what's your feel on the current kind of state of the mainstream and what's being pushed nowadays? Because those for me those 4 albums are classics, and they're 4 really talented band/artists.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I don't really listen to many new bands, but there is one new band that I really like. A lot of people say they sound like Led Zeppelin, Greta Van Fleet. I love them. I haven't heard of them yet. I have not. When you get a chance, YouTube them. You'll like them, man. They're young. They're probably I guess they're in their early 20s, but it's
Okay.
it's a 4-piece band, and 3 of the guys in the band, they're all brothers.
Oh, awesome! I love that.
The singer, the guitarist, and the bass player are brothers, and then the drummer, I guess, is just like like a friend or something like that. But if you want, I'll send you the file.
Yeah, please do.
For the album, and you could just download it to your computer and listen to it.
Please do. I'd love that.
Yeah, I'll do that after we hang up. That song, "We Got Some Shit to Sort." Now,
Yeah.
what's the story behind that song? Because I'm just, is it about a girlfriend, or is it about just life in general, or?
So it's kind of got, yeah. So this is the way I like to write is, quite often it really depends. Like sometimes it will just be a case of I've got some personal things to get off my chest, and I'll just air it, and it will be as clear as day. And I think a lot of that will, be heard on the first album that gets dropped. Another way I like to write is kind of concept writing. So someone will give me like a challenge, for example, like the 4th tune on the record that's coming out on this EP.
Okay.
It's called "Enjoy the Journey," and that was just someone saying to me, I want you to write a tune called "Enjoy the Journey," and I love those challenges because it kind of flows pretty easily when there's already the title, if that makes sense. There's, you just got to fill in the blanks essentially. It's not like piecing something together. And then the other way I like to write is if I have, like I was saying with Light Up before, I don't like to make it, some of them are just my personal story, but some are experiences that I've had, and when you'll be having a normal day and something will happen. You'll go to the supermarket and some guy will just you either met a really lovely guy and he was super sweet, or a girl, vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And you get on, you think, oh, I met this awesome guy today. He gave me this little thing, and he said I should check this out. He was a really sweet guy. Or the opposite happens, and this guy is rushing you, and he's right on your tail, and you come home and you go, oh, this absolute this guy today in the store, I can't tell you. And you'll sit and chat, and your mate will say, oh, a similar thing happened to me here, and then someone else will say, oh yeah, that happened to me as well. Mm-hmm. And from the kind of 3 stories that have been said, I try to piece together like one conclusion, essentially. So however you want to look at it, so if you want to take that song and look at it from the perspective of a relationship, it should work more or less.
Okay.
Exactly how it is. And there's one side of which I was writing. One perspective was how I was feeling about a girl that I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the other perspective of, for example, everyone's got stuff they need to, your career, your life, your what you've set out to do. If you ignore the fact, if you completely take out the possibility of it being a girl, it should work in that respect as well. And then there's a few others. So it's kind of like, it's whatever you want to take from it. But I think what stands out is, for me personally, is about kind of, getting your shit done, and,
right.
There kind of being this, life's a short game, and, we've got shit to sort essentially, as
Yeah, you want to fulfill you want to fulfill your dream. You want to get everything taken care of. You want to sort everything out. Is basically what you're trying to say in the song.
Exactly. And when it says stuff like, "I'm not trying to change you, I just don't like the way you talk," so that's like a double meaning as well, because that could be about a relationship. But when I was writing that, it was kind of aimed at the mainstream industry, I guess, at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to. If that's what people like. But personally, it's not for me.
Right. I mean, you meet record people that tell you, "Oh, you should do it this way because that's what people want to hear," and you're like,
exactly.
And you're like, "No, this is the way the song. This is the way I'm interpreting the song. This is the way I want it to be."
Completely. And then it's obviously maybe we can make a breakthrough, but we've got some shit to sort. So it's this concept of like, if they don't like it, we've got some, we need to sort some shit out, or there's the other side of, well, this is how it is, so kind of deal with it, I guess. And
Yeah,
it's
I think a lot of record people, they think they know what everybody wants to hear all the time, and they're not always right.
yeah, completely. Well, that it happens regularly, and when we did this first EP with the band, about it was finished about 2.5 years ago. That got put forward through various contacts to label people and A&R folk, and the general consensus was that it was just kind of too old. It sounded like a 40-year-old band. And obviously I was like 19 at the time when we made it, so it wasn't ideal. And the thing is, I love old school music. I've grown up on old school music, but there needs to be slightly more representative of a bit more of a balance, because it's not just old school music that's being listened to, and it needs to kind of represent the modernness of the world and what we're doing, as well as kind of having an old school sound. So I guess like old school, new school, I think it's different anyway. I haven't heard much out there that I think is has a lot of similar characteristics.
Mm-hmm. And who are you listening to today? Like, what are the groups that you like, or artists that you like?
I listen to so much, and I'm one of those. I rarely find like a full album that I like. I like different tunes here and there. I tell you who I did hear the other day. First time I heard, who really surprised me, was a girl called Billie Eilish.
Mm-hmm.
I believe she's 16, from Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I heard a song called Ocean Eyes by her, which, it was great. It was really, really good. And yeah, she was fantastic. But I mean, what do I listen to on a daily basis? I guess a lot of hip hop, and like the first CD I was ever given was the Marshall Mathers LP when I was seven years old. So that was kind of like my first memory of music, and then it's kind of like expanded in different ways from there. So like, I got into a lot of Dr. Dre around that time, because I love the kind of, and also the Bass Brothers. A lot of people don't know about the Bass Brothers, but
so you're still pretty young then, right?
I'm 21. I turned 22 in October.
Wow, because when I'm talking to you, you seem a lot more mature than that.
Well, I appreciate that.
I feel like I'm talking to a guy, like almost a guy my own age. You know what I mean? Because I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't have many people my age that I hang around with. To be honest, it's always, my brothers were 8 and 10 years older than me, so I've kind of always grown up being, I guess, a bit more comfortable around. I feel like I don't know. It's just how it is at the moment. It would be, I think as well, because I went to uni at 16, to a music uni.
Okay.
Which was fairly early in the UK. Usually we go at 18, and there was like 5 other people because it was a music university. There was a few of us who, weren't 18 who were there. So there was like 5 of us at the university, and I think kind of jumping into that environment at that age, and bearing in mind in my class as well, it wasn't like a normal university where everyone there who's in first year is 18. We had a mixed bag, from me being the youngest in the class at 16 to the oldest being 42 as well. So,
wow.
After kind of that just became the norm, and then, working in different environments and stuff like that, everyone my age was kind of at university doing their thing by the time I was working in bars and stuff like that. So I ended up just spending so much time with, people who are considerably older, like Chesko, the bass player, and my brother from another mother, the guy who's made pretty much all of this possible. He's 33, so there's a 12-year difference there, but we don't feel any kind of difference when we sit and chat or hang out. It's not like we're just two adults. Simple as that.
So you guys working every night? You guys playing gigs every night?
Yeah, so we start rehearsals next week for the live shows.
Okay.
We've got the band set up for that. It's just a case of being kind of concise and meticulous and not wasting any time or energy. We want to do a big launch for this project. This is the thing as well. We've put so much into making this happen. It's not been like a 2-week process to kind of get these. We took so much time to get it right that, we don't want to kind of change that now. So in our and also I'm 21. I don't feel like there's this desperation or rush to get it done now. I've been gigging for the last 8 years, 4 times a week, so I'm very comfortable in that environment. I just want my original stuff and the live stuff to be as good as it possibly can. So we start in next week, and that will probably go on for about a month until it's ready, and then we want to do a big launch night in London. So
there's going to be a CD available then at some point.
Absolutely, that will all be. I'm fairly certain we haven't got a date on the final release because it's been very dependent on, as I say, this music video came together very quickly and that pushed the other songs back. So I Don't Understand You Baby is going to be released on the 13th, which is next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Enjoy the Journey, the last track, will be released on the 4th of July. And then the launch night should be either that weekend or the following weekend, but everything will be available on the Facebook, the Instagram, which is at Mr. Alex Larsson, on everything, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So that will all be available there and finalized as well.
That's awesome, man.
But Jimmy, how did you hear about the project? How did you hear the tunes? I'm fascinated to know.
Well, like I said, I'm not really crazy about all the crap they play on, the radio here in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I just started looking for indie bands on Facebook, and I came across your video, and I saw the picture of you, and I'm like, oh, this guy looks pretty cool. And then when I read the title, We Got Some Shit to Sort, I'm like, all right, I got to listen to this. And then I listened to it, and I'm like, wow, this guy's pretty good. So I'll send him a message and see if I can get him on the show. And basically, to be honest with you, I mean, I have famous, like, people that are famous here in the U.S. who have been on my show. But
yeah.
The last few guests that I've had, I was dying to get them on because I love the way they sound. I got you on now. About 2 weeks ago, I discovered. Well, wasn't 2 weeks ago. About a month ago, I discovered this guy named Jimmy Sweet out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I had him on my show, and this guy he's phenomenal. And
I'll have to check him. Jimmy Sweet, did you say?
Yeah, I'll send you the file.
Yeah, please do. Please.
I'll send you that, and I'll send you the Greta Van Fleet.
Yes.
But I find talking to indie artists and sharing their music and stuff, I don't know, everybody seems to be enjoying it on the show more. They like because they're like, oh, where'd you find this guy, or where'd you find her, and when I played We Got Some Shit to Sort, I mean, everybody was like, because I have a chat room like on my website, so when I'm live, people can chat and I can see what they're saying, and they're listening, and they were all saying all positive stuff, like, where's that guy from, oh, he sounds like this guy, or he sounds like that guy, this song, they're like, we can relate to this song, like, because everybody has shit to sort somewhere or another, true. Whether it's in a relationship, or it's unfinished business, or like work, or maybe it's a drug problem or an alcohol problem. It could be anything. Yeah. So, like you said, when you sing We Got Some Shit to Sort, I mean, people may interpret it differently. Yeah, as to their own experience.
But it's a positive message regardless of the situation. Yeah.
But that's really how I found you. I seen that you posted on that indie page. I don't remember the name exactly. It's like Indie Promotion, something like that. Okay. And then once I watched the video, then I followed you on, on there. So then I would get updates as to what you were up to. And I see, Light Up came out, and then I saw you were on Instagram. So I followed you on there, and here we are, man.
Yeah.
Talking.
You know what? It's great. This is the first interview, chat, radio, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever done. And you know what, is such an amazing experience / feeling to know that Chesko and I released this tune, and somehow it's made its way over to America, and people like it enough to want to chat to me about the tune. It's incredible. So I can't thank you enough. And
yeah, well, I appreciate you like taking time out of your day to talk to me. I mean, we're on a 5-hour time difference, so I know it's later in the afternoon for you. I actually don't. I don't actually go into the office till 2 p.m. and I guess that's like 7 p.m. by you, right? Yeah,
rough. Yeah, it is. But well, I appreciate that as well. You got me at a really good time. So
yeah, well, I mean, you're taking time out to talk to me, so I want to accommodate you. I mean, I'm sure you got some shit to sort today. So.
One or two things, yeah.
So
the first. I didn't know if this was a mistake or not until my mum started to take the piss out of me when I said, she asked what I was up to, and I said, I've got a few things to sort out. Who's got some shit to sort?
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, here we go. And then go on. Sorry.
So this live free EP that when you put this out, it's going to be a live album.
No, so it's the Live Free EP.
I see. Because I thought I was interpreting that it was live.
Yeah. This is a pretty common thing to happen, which I need to work out what the best way to make it clear is, because basically, long story short, the project that I was doing before, when I was I think 16, well, I got a tattoo, and the tattoo was, for the last, since I was about 14 years old, I'd stick on, every time I felt upset or down, or, that, something was up, or I'd always stick on a tune by Mac Miller called Live Free.
Oh, okay.
And Live Free just stuck with me. Those words just stuck with me so heavily. It meant so much more than just what was in the song and what was being said, and I obviously took my own interpretation of that meaning, and that became kind of my motto, I guess, just through university and through, and it was like at the time it was really kind of young, naive approach to live free, and what that meant to me, and kind of as I've got older, and the more things I've experienced, it's kind of, it's become more whole, the meaning of live free, and it's not as black and white, and it's about doing what you want to do, and living your life essentially, and more or less what's the standard meaning of it, but obviously it has its layers that resonates with me personally. And I got that tattooed on my arm when I was about 16, 17, with a peace sign, and when I was with my old bandmates, we were trying to think of the name, and this was about 6 months to a year after I got this tattoo, and it just kept coming back to the name of the the free life, the live free, and just all these sorts of names, and we were basically just circling around live free. So
that's a cool motto, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it weighs heavily with me every day. You can't kind of get trapped or locked into the, not living free. And, every day you don't chase your dreams, someone else will pay you to chase theirs. So,
Exactly.
you got to live free and do your thing. And, we've only got one chance at this life. So make it happen.
Exactly. Well,
but,
I really appreciate you, taking the time out to talk to me, and anytime you want to come back on, just send me a message, like maybe when the EP is ready to launch again, and
that would be amazing, Jimmy. And thank you so much for having me on again as well.
And what I'll do is, like I said, I'll send you those files that I promised you, and when I'm done mixing this interview, I'll send you the file for that too, an MP3 of it, if you want to like post it maybe.
Yes, please, absolutely, I will do.
And we'll be in touch, man.
Awesome.
I really appreciate you coming on, and like I said, I know you got some shit to sort today, and
and likewise.
And likewise. All right.
Well, thank you again, Jimmy. I look forward to chatting to you again.
All right, take care, mate.
You too. See you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Larsson. And coming up right now, as promised, folks, we're going to play the brand new single. It's called Light Up. It's recordmachineshow.com.
He was never around. At least I always had my brother there in the house. I could share what I found. I could always make frown. We used to have our fights, but he'd be there when I'm down. And now he's not. Should be the other way round. All you have to do is light up, yeah. Feeling down, so bring you light up. All you have to do is light up, yeah. Light up, yeah. You have to do is light up, yeah. Shit's been getting worse. My bro moved out and shifted all my plans into reverse. And now it's on my own, all caught between a crossfire of arguments and fights. Telling my mum to stop crying and telling my dad to stop lying. Even when I saw my brother, he was not smiling. But I never stopped rhyming, cause it's a method for me to chill. I put my feelings on a page instead of taking pills. This shit hurt, and it's hard for me to open up. Alone in stuff that's closed and shut ever since it broke my heart. But now I know it's time to move on and take these feelings out my head and stick them in a new song. All you have to do is light up, yeah. Bring it down, bring it right up. All you have to do is light up, yeah. Light up, yeah. All you have to do is light up, yeah. Feel it down, so bring it right up. All you have to do is light up, yeah. Scars are all healed, but they're still there on display. Distant memories spinning in my head like they were on replay. Stop the game that's on my brain. I need to concentrate. My sights have all been narrowed from feeling like I'm locked away beyond the grave. And a shock being stable always makes me stop and wait. Things are looking up.